Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Fate Remnant Collide. So yeah, let us begin, shall we, ladies and gents? So, from the last episode, we're now currently in Volume 3. As Volume 3 starts, we would go towards Beacon Academy, as we currently see Team... Wait for a second, my throat. As we currently see Team Wrath getting ready for the Vistal Festival. Each of them wearing their specific battle gear, including him, as he would be wielding that of his signature weapon, Gungnir, more specifically in its large shield form. After doing so, he would look towards the rest of his team as he would say, "So we're ready?" As after saying that, I would say, specifically that of their leader, Walter, as he would say, "Ya howdy, partner," he would say, as he would be done getting ready his suit, or his battle gear specifically, as he would be wielding that of his weapon, being that of the bow gun or bow pistol that he wields. After doing so, the rest of the team would also come out. Like for example, Tina after wearing her battle dress, and finally Tina as she would be getting ready her bike outside. As she would say, "Damn, so many scratches. Oh well." As after saying this, she would rip off a piece of what seems to be dirt. Well, it doesn't resemble dirt exactly. As after doing so, she would say, "So, are we ready?" As Rex would say, "Yep." As after doing so, they would start leaving their dorm. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on, as they would start leaving to go towards the Amity Stadium. After they arrived, they would see a few other members of different schools, like for example, Haven to Atlas. Yeah, I was about to say something else, but never mind. As while doing so, they would also see somebody super familiar, or at least a group of individuals. They would see Team RWBY as they're fighting against a team from... Wait for a second, my throat. A team from Shade Academy. As while they're basically fighting, a few of the members would get a few of the members were clearly being beaten down by Team RWBY and their fighting abilities. Not only that, because of their teamwork, and considering that they battled a lot of criminals in the past few volumes, you can probably guess that they would be beaten. As after doing so, they would hear the next team that is going to be fighting, being that of specifically that of Team Juniper fighting against the team from Atlas. But it's not going to be Penny's team yet. So, as Team Juniper would slowly start coming down from the stage towards the arena, as they would see the team that is going to be fighting against them. Team Card. Actually, no, I forgot. I almost forgot that they are basically expelled. Anyway, continuing on. Instead of Team Cardinal, instead they're gonna be fighting a team from Shade Academy. As while they're coming down to the stage, there would be a random team, as this fight would just be easy for Team Juniper. As while watching this, he would start to see something, or more specifically, Rex would start to sense something, as he would hear from in his head, being that of his servant, being that of Sigurd, as Sigurd would say, "Master, I sense a servant nearby." After saying this, Rex would say, "Wait, a servant? Wait, what do you mean by servant exactly?" As he would say, "Like I said, a servant. And it definitely seems strong. Extremely strong, in fact." Wait for a second. As while saying this, he would also say, I also sense another servant nearby. He also seems malicious. After saying that, Rex would say to himself, very well then, keep observing. If anything happens, prepare yourself. As after saying this, the Sigurd would look at him and would say, very well, master. As he would disappear, doing so, he would think to himself, so another servant. Hope this time it's not going to be annoying. As while saying this, he would not notice that somebody was watching him. As the woman would be that of Berserker, or at least Berserker of, was it Shemyaza Hell or, let me double check. Yeah, the Berserker of Samgata Hell, I meant. As while she's watching not Izuku, I meant Rex. As Rex would, as Rex was being, just himself and just watching the whole fight, she would say this to herself. So, that's the man that's able to summon multiple heroic spirits. I'll let him live for now. But, if my daughter tells me to, I'll make sure that it will be quick, she would say. As saying that, she would be wielding onto her blade. As we would go back to Rex. As after the fight between Juniper and the Shade Academy team, they would win. Wait for a second, my throat. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on. As after they win, they would start getting ready for their match. As while they're getting ready for their match, they would see that their opponents were Team. As we would go to the perspective of Team Indigo, as one of their members, specifically that of one of the members being that of the Daygrill or Daygel, as she would say, well, we're doomed, she would say, as she would be shaking in her boots, realizing that they have to fight a certain someone, being that of Rex. As while saying this, specifically that of Nebula would say, hey, calm down, besides, he won't hurt us that bad. As she would say, do you remember his, well, his, um, um, everything, she would say? As she would say, yes, I know. But don't worry, I studied all his moves, so it will be easy for us to beat him, she would say. As one of them would say, yeah, sort of, said Gwen. As Gwen would say, to be more specifically, wait for a second. Anyway, continuing on, as we currently see Octavia, as she would say, yes, it's quite the tragedy, she would say. Considering that we're going to be fighting against Rex and the rest of his team, it's going to be hell. Especially since, the whole us being a part of this Holy Grail War thing, she would say. As Nebula would say, wait, no, you're not a part of this. Besides, I'm technically a part of the Holy Grail, not you guys. As after saying this, one of them, specifically that of her servant, would come out of the locker rooms, or appear in the locker rooms, revealing herself as Tamlin Gawain. As she would say, Master, do I have to help you in this battle, she would say. As one of them would say, I think it's better if you do not, said a somewhat, concerned duo. As she would say, considering that we're basically gonna fight him in live television. Do you want everybody to know about the Holy Grail War, she would say. As she would say, yeah, you're right. But still, I want to be by my master's side. As she would wield up her sword, as she would say, as my honor as a Tamlin, I will not. As before she can say anything else, Gwen would say, don't worry. Besides, Nebula can, well, still fight on her own. So you can probably just protect her next time. As she would say, Are you sure, miss? As she would say, don't worry, don't worry. Anyway, we should probably start get go. Wait for a second, my throat. I meant to say was, don't worry. Besides, we should probably start to get going. Besides, we also need to get ready for the fight. As after saying this, everybody would start getting out of the locker rooms as Tamlin, Gawain would say, very well, master. Good luck. As after saying this, she would disappear. As we would go to another perspective, we would go to the perspective of a certain red-haired thief. As he's currently in jail, as he would go like, seriously, of all things, he would say to himself, God damn it, I had to be confined in solitary of all things. I'm supposed to be and all things, I'm supposed to be the number one thief here. And why am I being put into solitaire of all things, she would say. And he would say, as while doing so, something would start to happen. What seems to be some sort of glyph would slowly start appearing around him. As he would say, what the hell is going on? As while saying this, he would notice that there's some sort of tattoo across his hand. As he would say, what is this? I didn't remember getting a tattoo. As he would try to scratch it off. But before he can, sparks of red electricity would slowly start appearing around the circle, as it would shock him a little bit. As he would say, what the hell is going? As before he can say anything else, it would explode. Not killing him, but it would be a surprise. As after doing so, he would start coughing, saying, what the as before he can say anything else, he would notice that after the explosion, he would see that he's outside. As he'd say, I'm free! I'm free! He would say, as he would slowly get out of his prison clothes, or at least some of it, as he would start getting out of there, thanks to the hole in the wall that was in his confinement center. After doing so, he would start to leave immediately, as several guards would basically get out, or at least come inside of the door where the blown out cell is, as they would say, damn it, he's gone out! Get moving, it would say, as several guards would slowly start to, rush towards Torchwick, as you would say, there's no sorry about that, I meant, there's no way to escape, Torchwick, they would say, as they would be wielding that of guns, mostly filled with Dusta-based ammo, as they would say, there's no escaping, Torchwick. Are you ready to die or something? They would say, as they would go aim their guns towards Torchwick, as he would say, damn it, shite, they would say, as he would look behind him, as the prison is on a nearby cliff, or at least his escape plan was basically just jumping off a cliff, but when he realized that there was jagged rocks and potentially some sea grim there, yeah, it wasn't a good idea. As while seeing this, he would say, crap, why did I think of anything but, as before he can say anything else, they would say, grab him, as the several guards would slowly start rushing towards him, but before they can, something would start to happen, as somebody would appear. As the servant would reveal himself, wearing that some sort of what seems to be a cloth covering his eyes. Unironically enough, he is wielding a bow, a wrapped bow, as he seems to have a malicious aura around him, as he would say these words, servant, archer, I have been summoned towards this Holy Grail war. I ask of you, are you my master? As after saying these words, Torchwick would say, what the fuck is happening? He would say. And so, we will be ending off this episode right off here, guys. So yeah, bye-bye!